here's everything that happened in Formula 1 this week. Like always, for those who don't have the time to watch the full video, here are the 7 things that happened that are noteworthy. First of all, Johnny Herbert was exited or released from his position as a Formula 1 steward. Second would be that Lewis Hamilton had a minor crash in Barcelona. Don't worry, everything is okay. Number 3 is that the rumors around Max Verstappen's potential move to Aston Martin are getting louder because reportedly there are some negotiations ongoing. Number 4 is that South Africa is looking to be part of the 2027 race calendar. They are just looking for funds and are talking to Heineken and Red Bull. Number 5 is that Yuki Tsunoda has been given the reserve driver seat at Red Bull Racing, a little bit of a breadcrumb. Number 6 is that Carlos Sainz, after his first official days at Williams, has reportedly said that it is going to be a hard season, but he is really excited to join the team. And number 7 is that Louis Vuitton is the official partner for the Australian GP and has made a special trunk for the GP. But yeah, let's go into them in detail. Johnny Herbert released from the FIA. Johnny Herbert has been officially released as a rotating steward from the FIA. Who is Johnny Herbert? Well, he's a 3-time Grand Prix winner and has been working as a FIA steward and also as an expert for media. Now, last year there has been some complaints about his neutrality from drivers but also other people in the paddock, and the last voice was Verstappen because he did not understand the 20-second penalty in Mexico for Max Verstappen. And I mean, argue with it as much as you want, but that raised some questions about the neutrality from Johnny Herbert, so he has been released. But don't worry, 24 hours later, he has been officially announced as a brand ambassador for Lola Formula E team. My personal opinion is that it is humanly impossible to have 2 such vastly different positions, even in the same industry, and keep them separate, because they will influence each other one way or the other. And being an expert for the media for Formula 1 and then staying neutral as an FIA steward is going to clash at one point. And that happened, and I think it is a right decision by the FIA to let him go. But as we know, he already got a new position, so we don't need to worry about him. Lewis Hamilton's crash in Barcelona. After the TPC sessions, so the test of previous car in Fiorello last week, Lewis Hamilton has moved to Barcelona with the team and Charles Leclerc as well for some Pirelli tire testing. Now, in the second day of this test, there has been a minor crash where Lewis Hamilton has found himself in the barrier and there was some damage to the suspension and some aerodynamic parts. Now, it is of course unfortunate for the team because they had to work overtime to get the car ready for Charles Leclerc, who also had a TPC testing in Barcelona, and that took a little bit of an extra time, but everything at the end of the day is fine. And now my personal opinion is, if the rumors and superstition is alright, then we know that Lewis Hamilton always crashes his TPC test car, and in the same year he will get the World Championship title. But only if we believe superstition. Max Verstappen to Aston Martin. Now, the rumors around Max Verstappen moving to Aston Martin have become louder and louder every single day, and according to Mark Hughes, there have been negotiations going on, but that's all reportedly. So let's look into Max Verstappen's situation first. Max Verstappen has signed a contract with Red Bull Racing until 2028, but he has apparently a performance clause that allows him to go if he is in the Drivers' Championship ranking 3rd or lower after a majority part of the calendar has been concluded. And even Helmut Marko said that there is nothing that keeps Max Verstappen at Red Bull Racing if he does not have a championship-worthy car. So that opens few doors. But there has been a few teams that are interested in Max Verstappen, and the loudest ones are Mercedes and Aston Martin. So why Aston Martin and not Mercedes? Let's look into Mercedes first. So Toto Wolff has been really vocal about wanting Max Verstappen on his team. And then he went on and signed Kimi Antonelli. But George Russell's contract runs out this year, and that might mean that Toto Wolff is going to again try it. And they're the only team that are reportedly prepared for the 2026 regulations, and every other supplier is struggling a bit. So they have that on their side. And then Aston Martin joined the bidding around Max Verstappen officially at the end of last year with the $100 million offer, the rumored one. But they have Adrian Newey on their team, and also Honda is going to join Aston Martin in 2026 after leaving Red Bull Racing. So on a broader picture, Aston Martin might look like the better candidate. But if you look closely, there are a few issues that make it a little bit unlikely. So issue number one, and I think the biggest issue for Max, is that Honda has said themselves that they are struggling with the 2026 PU because the new regulations see a smaller power unit without an MGUH and also usage of full sustainable fuel. So they need to find a power unit that can do everything and more in a smaller space and with 100% for sustainable fuel, and that is not that easy. And then we have the second issue, which is that Max Verstappen does not want to race forever, and I don't even think for the next 2 to 3 years. So why should he sign with a new team? Number 3 is that Aston Martin does have 2 drivers that are signed until the end of 2026. So who are they going to let go? There is no space. Now, if you're asking for my personal opinion, which I know you don't, I personally don't see Max Verstappen moving to Aston Martin. Because why should Max Verstappen, and I say that respectfully, downgrade? If he already has a performance clause with Red Bull Racing, who have provided him with a World Championship worthy car 4 times, why should he move to Aston Martin when they have reported issues with the new PU? And why should he move into a team where if Fernando Alonso is staying, there is going to be a clash between them because neither of them wants to be second driver. I mean, why should they? And if they decide to stick with Lance Stroll, then he's again just the only driver carrying the team. Respectfully. Sorry, Lance. So is Max Verstappen going to stick with Red Bull Racing? I highly doubt it. Because, like Helmut Marko said, nothing keeps him at Red Bull Racing if he does not get the car. And I really feel like that this year is not going to be a good Red Bull year. And also, he wants to be more focused on family, and he enjoys sim racing more than Formula 1 racing. So that is one part of it. And the other part is that Ford is going to be the new power unit supplier, and if everyone is struggling, Honda and all the other teams except for Mercedes, apparently, why is Max supposed to stick with a team where he doesn't even know if they have a better car in 2026 after a potential bad car in 2025? So that makes it even more unlikely for him to stay with Red Bull Racing. And then there is of course the FIA regulations about how drivers should behave. Why should Max stay in a sport where he's not allowed to speak how he wants to? And yes, of course, we can argue how much of a role model each driver is, and they should limit themselves on how they express themselves. But still, Max loves his free speech. Max loves how he talks. So why should he stay in a sport that limits him? So everything points in him leaving completely and not leaving to another team. But let me know what you think. South Africa on the Formula 1 calendar. So the South African sports minister, Gator McKenzie, has been really vocal about wanting to bring Formula 1 back to South Africa. Now, after a while, everyone has been talking, asking for an African race, and now they are actually really close on bringing Formula 1 to South Africa. All they need is the funding. They need to put on the table £40 million. And now they are talking to Red Bull and Heineken to also be part of that project. So I personally would love to see a race in South Africa, because that would not only put Formula 1 on nearly every single continent on this earth, and I say nearly because Antarctica is still a continent, and I don't think we are ever going to race there, dependent on how climate change is going on. But I also think it will help the tourism and the economic standards in South Africa, because we have seen what Formula 1 can do with all the people going to races. And on top of that, I also hope that whoever is in charge in South Africa, and I say that specifically like that, hopefully we'll see that more tourists are coming and will put more funding into security, which will then effectively also help the South African citizens. So I think it would be exciting to have the race in 2027 on the calendar, and it would fit right into it because Zandvoort is then out, so there's space. Yuki Tsunoda as a reserve driver for Red Bull Racing. So Yuki Tsunoda has lost the war against Liam Lawson last year for the Red Bull seat. And you can be for that, you can be against that. People say numbers never lie, and that's why they went for Liam Lawson, a Red Bull Junior driver. I think that has a lot to do with it. Now they've given Yuki the reserve driver seat. And yeah, I mean, personally, it's probably just a breadcrumb just to make him happy. But hey, at least he has it now. So, Carlos Sainz and Williams, a difficult road. So Carlos Sainz moved to Williams, raised a lot of questions in why no other team has actually offered him a seat, and it has been a difficult time for Carlos Sainz because he learned about the move from Lewis Hamilton to Ferrari through media, if I remember it correctly, and also Mercedes and Red Bull have closed their doors on him. So he was left with Williams. But I don't think we should see it in a negative way, because Carlos Sainz is a really talented driver, and this is where my personal opinion comes in. And he really has improved himself every single time. So that's why I think actually him being in Williams, sure, this season is not going to be great. Let's be completely honest. This season is going to be a hard one, but I think he and Alex Albon together can bring the team back again. And if the rumors are correct that Mercedes has a powerful and good power unit from 2026, then Williams will also benefit from that. And we might see Williams back at the top ranking for midfields. And I'm really excited for that, because Carlos also sees that, as he has been doing 600 laps at the post-season testing and has spent the whole day at the garage and fixing the car. So I feel like this has high potential for 2026. Louis Vuitton, official partner for the Australian GP. So it is not unknown that LVMH has joined Formula One in a 10-year partnership, hence replacing brands such as Ferrari Trentino with Moet and Rolex with Tag Heuer. Now another brand from the group has joined Formula One, and that is Louis Vuitton. And they're going to be official partner for this year's Australian Grand Prix. They are working on this special trunk where the trophy is in, and they're also going to be major part of the opening ceremony, the podium, etc, etc. So it's going to be with a sprinkle of luxury. But Louis Vuitton is actually not an unknown partner for Formula One, because from 2021 until 2024 they have partnered with Automobile Club de Monaco. Yeah, Automobile Club de Monaco, where they have had the trophy in a special made Louis Vuitton trunk for the Monaco trophy. So yeah, that's it. And like always, here's a minute of lo-fi just to help you digest all that news.